say I wanted to like, I guess, start my own farm.
Yes.
And I was like, Nyema, how do I do this? Like, how much land would I need or something like that? What would you tell me?
Man, I have a 1/4 acre. I have folks, depending on what you want to start. So growing your own food, you don't need much. You can have a balcony in Seattle. A lot of what we teach at Nurturing Roots is the perception of even farming is insane. The fact that you think you need 1 million acres to produce one crop is insane. So we produce almost 80 different varieties on a 1/4 acre lot in South Seattle. So I'd say depending on what you want to grow, if you want to have things perpetually growing, you could do lettuce, cut up the top or peel the leaves around the lettuce and it keeps going. You know, different things like celery, your onions. If you want to restart those in your kitchen window, you could do that.
Yeah.
So depending on how much you want to produce, but a small family, like with a average size backyard, you could have stuff going. Yeah. Also high density crops. So I plant things closer together. There's a lot of nice manicured, really beautiful, I think Eurocentric type growing styles where it's about, again, looking cool. But for me, it's like I'm going to grow these as close as I can because I need the space.
Yeah,
so.
You got to maximize.
Right.
Yeah. And what are some roadblocks that some people may find themselves seeing on this journey of trying to go into farming, right? You just said you had a 1/4 acre.
Yeah.
Okay, so to get that, I mean, I'm
Yes.
sure no one just handed that to you.
No. And in Seattle, I'm leasing.
Okay.
So Seattle, a 1/4 acre, just to put it in perspective right now, that's valued at $900,000. I saw a property out in Auburn, 38 acres. It was $1 million. So I'm thinking, you know, in South Seattle, it's crazy, but 38 acres compared to this 1/4 is a big difference.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So depending on where you want to be, of course, and then also accessing different loans, what we've found as people of color and a lot of my African farmers that have immigrated here, they have an experience from home. But here, the financial markets do not identify that as a revenue stream.
Gotcha.
It was a backyard. You guys were just growing food and going to your neighborhood market.
Gotcha.
You were not a business. Whereas they've been growing.
Yeah.
Their family's been growing. You know,
Yeah.
grandparents, they know what they're doing. So
Yeah.
for me, I think there's that divide where you have to be prepared to kind of show and prove. Even more so, being a person of color, and then also just land access. I found so many white farmers that have the land, and they got 100 acres, and they don't really want to do the business anymore, so they're going to sell to developers. And it's like, that's great, but the access to capital is something.
Yeah.
So if you want to find farming, you may be leasing for a while, knowing that.
Okay.
And also just knowing, you know, there are certain crops that you can make money from, and there are certain crops you will chase your tail. So identifying what markets you should get into, and then making it sustainable, because eventually that will be the goal of most farmers. I always think about different, you know, Armageddon movies or zombie films. It's like everyone's going to need to be this way. So, you know, being able to identify how this can strengthen the economy, the greater economy, I think also. But I don't know, when you're farming, just get out there and start growing.
Got you.
And if it's for profit, just make sure that you check out the markets first.
Yeah. We do that. I don't know.
Man, I deal with a lot of folks that, you know, definitely African Americans who associate farming with slavery. So I think there's many different layers. There are folks that are from the continent Africa, and they realize that that was a way of life. So then they honor it differently. So I think it all depends on where you're from. Also, I've learned that when you get people to the farm, because there's a certain amount of my friends that definitely like my photos. They'll like them all, but they would never step foot or put their hands in the dirt. So I think it's when they get there. A lot of times young people, it's when they can engage with my chickens. A lot of time it's when they can see, oh, a carrot, and they pull it out. So really it's identifying where something hits you and finding your humanity again. And often you have to get past the superficial. My homegirl got to get past her nails getting dirty. You know, you got to get past all those things. And it's almost like it unlocks something. All of us looking at plants, you can tell if a plant is dying. Like something like that, it's not taught. You didn't go to school and someone taught you. It's because you can see it. You were trained. I guess we are trained to be able to identify plants and to be able to forage for ourselves.
Yeah, they're living creatures just like us.
Come on, they had to teach us to read numbers in the supermarket, but going out into the garden, you can tell what looks good and what's bad. So yeah, for me,
wow.
Oh my goodness, but yeah, I could go on forever.
No, that's real. we're very detached.